This is your weekly report on corruption in the Philippine government. The Commission on Audit has flagged the municipality of Mapan in Toy over its 8.82 million pesos outright expenses in 2023 without first setting up an inventory account. The lapse cast doubt on the propriety of the transactions, the COA said in its 2023 audit report on the municipality. It said Mapan town spent a total of 3,165,789 pesos on office supplies, 2,311,792 pesos on fuel, oil and lubricants, 700,381 pesos on agriculture and marine supplies, and 2,643,021 pesos on other supplies and materials, or a total of P8,820,985 pesos. The treatment of these procurements as outright expense resulted in the misstatement of assets and expenses accounts equivalent to the value of the remaining stocks at year-end which were not treated as assets, the COA said. It said its audit team stressed the importance of maintaining an inventory account, which will enable it to reflect in its books the monthly balance of supplies and materials, and will also guide officials concerned to determine the quantity of the products to be procured in the succeeding month or quarter. For failure to adhere to the prescribed accounting rules and regulations on the inventory accounts, the asset account was not recognized while the related expense account was overstated, the COA said in its report. In addition, the practice of allowing the immediate distribution of inventory items in bulk to the end users exposes it to risk of misuse, theft, and wasteful utilization, it said. Thus, the COA urged officials of Mapan to adapt and maintain the asset method of recording the inventory items and require the coordination between the Municipal Accounting Office and General Services Office towards the proper implementation of the perpetual inventory method of recording all inventory items. In doing so, the COA said the municipality would ensure proper accounting and promote better control in the receipt and issuance of supplies and materials. The Regional Trial Court in National Capital Region has ordered the arrest of Daraga Town Mayor Colwyn Gobaldo over 2018 killing of former ACO Bicol Representative Rodel Batacabe and his police aide, Master Sergeant Orlando Diaz. The warrant of arrest, signed by Asari Pacheco, acting presiding judge of Branch 3 RTC, dated Wednesday, the 21st of August, was for Baldo's alleged involvement in the murder of the Batacabe and Diaz on the 20th of December 18 during a Christmas event in Daraga, Albay. No bail has been recommended for the charge of 2 counts of murder. However, Police Brigadier General Andre Dazon, Bicol Police Chief, told the Inquirer in a phone interview on Thursday, the 22nd of August, that Baldo was not found by the arresting team in his residence in Barangay Tagas, Daraga. The serving of the arrest warrant turned out negative because the mayor was not around, Dazon said. He added that it is best for Baldo to surrender so he can defend himself against the charges filed against him. It's difficult for him to remain in hiding, as the warrant of arrest has no expiry date, he said. Malacanang has suspended Abra Vice Governor Maria Jocelyn Valera Bernas for 18 months after unjustly locking down the Dr. Petronilo Ciaz Senior Memorial Hospital in Bangued, Abra during the pandemic. A copy of the decision from the Office of the Deputy Executive Secretary for Legal Affairs of the Office of the President said Bernas was ordered to vacate her post after finding her guilty of oppression and abuse of authority, conduct unbecoming of a public official and disobedience to national government policies. The 18-month suspension stemmed from a complaint against Bernas, then the province's governor, in the 20th of December 20 by Dr. Voltaire L. Sears, medical director of the hospital, after she imposed a lockdown on the hospital. According to the complaint, the provincial government of Abra immediately imposed a lockdown, installed barricades around the hospital and placed the barangay where the hospital is located under extreme enhanced community quarantine when one of their nurses was stricken with COVID-19 on the 20th of June 20. People inside the hospital were barred from leaving the premises, the complaint added. The lockdown order was said to have been posted on social media by Bernas. Sears complained that Bernas ordered the lockdown of the hospital without sufficient basis and in violation of the guidelines of the Interagency Task Force for the Management of Emerging Infectious Disease. He stressed that the lockdown was made prematurely and without the concurrence of the Cordillera Administrative Regional Interagency Task Force. The freedom of movement and right to travel of various persons trapped inside the hospital were violated, resulting in undue injury and prejudice. The hospital owner's property rights as well as its doctors' and other medical practitioners' right to exercise a lawful profession were curtailed, Sears said in the complaint. Most of all, The people of Abra were deprived of their access to health care, the complaint added. The DESLA on the 20th of February 21 transmitted the records of the case to the Department of the Interior and Local Government for investigation, which submitted its report on the 20th of June 22. Bernice was also asked to answer Sears' complaint against her. Weighing the reports, issues and arguments of the camps involved, the DESLA found that Bernice committed the misdemeanor as claimed by Sears, regardless of her intentions for the interest of the public. A barangay councillor was wounded after he was shot Thursday night after an argument in Tanza town in Cavite province. Emilio, 53, was seated in front of the village hall in Barangay Amar 3 at around 11 p.m. when the suspect, identified as Andy, appeared with a handgun and shot him in the head. Investigators said the gunman fled after the shooting. Villagers brought the victim to Tanza Doctor Hospital, where he was confined for treatment. Police found that before the shooting incident, the suspect, a nephew of the victim residing in the same village, had a heated argument. The suspect returned with a gun and shot the victim. Police launched a manhunt to arrest the suspect. A 43-year-old barangay tenant was allegedly shot dead by a 58-year-old tricycle driver in Barangay Camilo Ojas, Bilaoan, La Union on Saturday night, the 24th of August. Police identified the victim as Eduardo R. San Jose. Investigation said San Jose and the suspect, William Subang, were attending a wake when a heated altercation erupted. Subang drew a gun and shot the victim once in the body. San Jose ran away but was pursued by the suspect. The victim slumped on the road and the suspect shot him once again. Subang fled and San Jose was taken to a hospital where he was declared dead. Police nabbed the suspect and recovered the firearm in a pursuit operation. A 46-year-old former Kagawad of Barangay Balsahir was shot dead by 3 constituents on Sunday night, the 25th of August. Police identified the victim as Rodel Lopez Luistro. Investigation said the suspects Jason, Muriel, and an unidentified companion arrived and suddenly shot the victim at around 7 p.m. The victim was taken to San Juan District Hospital where he was declared dead from multiple bullet wounds. The suspects, who fled and being tracked by the police, face murder charges. The Commission on Audit has required the city of Cabadbaran and Agusan del Norte to return to the national treasury the 20.7 million pesos balance out of the 55 million pesos the city received from local government support fund for COVID-19 financial assistance. In its 2023 audit report, the COA flagged Cabadbaran City for still spending 12.4 million pesos out of the 55 million peso fund beyond the fund's validity period. The COA said the city's unobligated balance of 20,734,933 pesos in the LGSF was still not reverted to the national treasury, therefore affecting the propriety and validity of the pertinent disbursements charged against the said fund beyond the fund's validity period. It said that the city received its LGSF COVID-19 financial assistance of 55 million pesos on the 30th of June, 2021 for the implementation of priority projects of the city. The budget was divided into 5 projects: procurement of medical equipment, supplies, vitamins, and personal protective equipment, 30 million pesos, procurement of relief goods, 10 million pesos, procurement of response transport vehicles, 10 million pesos, establishment of temporary shelter, 4 million pesos, and capacity development for health workers and frontliners, 1 million pesos. From that time the fund was received, the COA said the city disbursed a total of 2,801,445 pesos, which equated to a 5.09 utilization rate. It said state auditors discussed this low utilization rate with city officials through Audit Observation Memorandum No. 2022-022 dated the 18th of February, 2022. The audit team found that the city commenced 18 sub-programs and projects in 2021 with a contract cost of 21,828,455 pesos. The team recommended that the city make a representation with the Department of Budget and Management for an extension to utilize the unobligated amount, the COA said. For its part, the Cabadbaran city reasoned that it mistook the fund validity period, considering that all other fund transfers from the national government do not have an expiry period. City officials added that they already sent out a letter request to the DBM last the 18th of July, 2022 but have not received a response. The COA issued another AOM and made the same recommendation for the city to request for an extension to utilize the unobligated amount, otherwise the amount should be returned to the national treasury. The city government made a follow-up letter with the DBM on the 23rd of March, 2023, but the COA said the letter request did not clearly specify the conditions on the timelines from which the fund was received and its validity period, which was basically 6-month period of implementation, thereby affecting the full utilization of the fund. On the 5th of May, 2023, the DBM denied Cabadbaran City's request as it ordered that the remaining funds be reverted to the National Treasury. From the foregoing, a total of 21,828,455 pesos were obligated and or disbursed as of the 31st of December, 2021 based on the payments made and results of review of the start date of the procurement process, while a total of P2,436,610 pesos were still obligated and disbursed by the city despite lapse of the fund validity and adequate notices to them through audit observation memoranda, the COA said. It was also noted that the unutilized and unobligated funds amounting to 20,734,933 pesos remained not reverted to the National Treasury as at year-end, as required, it added, with the city using 12.436 million pesos and charging it against the LGSF COVID-19 financial assistance despite its expiry. The COA said that the deficiencies affected the propriety and validity of the disbursements. The COA directed the city accountant and city treasurer to return the remaining unobligated funds to the National Treasury. Former Maguindanao board member Asnawi Jojo Limbona, who is facing a case for murder in the killing of a police officer, surrendered to authorities in Sultan Mastura town, Maguindanao del Norte on Monday morning. Colonel Sultan Salman Sapal, Maguindanao del Norte police director, said Limbona, 56, of Datuodan Singsuat, was accompanied by his legal counsel, Asgar Mundal, to Captain Elmer Alacosa, Sultan Mastura Municipal Police Chief. Limbona has a standing warrant of arrest issued by Acting Presiding Judge Anabel Piang of Regional Trial Court Branch 13 in Cotabato City, dated the 6th of May, 2024. He was linked to the killing of Police Staff Sergeant Zeraman Mustafa Diacolano during a shootout on the 2nd of January along Rosales Street, Barangay Rosary Heights 6, Cotabato City. The shooting occurred while Datuodan Singsuat Mayor Lester Singsuat was inside the house of his uncle, former Representative Rooney Singsuat, for a peace dialogue. Sapal said since the warrant of arrest was issued by a local court, police have been searching for Limbona. After his surrender, the Maguindanao del Norte Provincial Intelligence Unit, headed by Lieutenant Colonel Michael Tinio and Captain Sammy Panning of the 1st Provincial Mobile Force Company, presented Limbona his warrant of arrest at the Sultan Mastura police station. A police officer is facing criminal charges for allegedly assaulting members of a contingent that participated in the Pasagabo Sarsugbo festival last Sunday, the 26th of August, at the Cebu City Sports Center. The suspect with the rank of police corporal was detained at the Guadalupe police station because of the incident on Saturday night, the 24th of August. Investigation showed that the suspect was among the police officers assigned to secure a contingent from Compostela town, Cebu billeted at the Guadalupe Elementary School. Prior to the incident, members of the group were called to attend an orientation for some final instructions. Police said some members arrived late and at least 9 of them were allegedly slapped by the policeman. Major Miles Damaslog, chief of the Guadalupe police station, said that the policeman was asked by the organizers to help gather the dancers. Police described the dancers as hard-headed, said Damaslog. Supposedly, it was not his job as a policeman as he was assigned there to secure the contingent. He just gave in to the request to help gather the members and it was there that he struck the students. Accordingly, the dancers refused to obey the order. That's why he hit them, said Damaslog. Police Lieutenant Colonel Jeanette Rafter, Deputy City Director for Administration of the Cebu City Police Office, said the CCPO is ready to file charges against the policeman. Rafter said they are still awaiting the complainants to complete their affidavits. Police Lieutenant Colonel Gerard A. Speller, spokesperson of Police Regional Office Central Visayas Chief Police Brigadier General Anthony Abarin, said the PRO7 will conduct its own administrative investigation against the policeman. The PRO7 will not condone any violation of law committed especially by our police officers, but of course we will also give him a chance to defend himself. We will hear his side of the story, Pella said. The Commission on Audit has issued a notice of disallowance over 73.2 million pesos out of the 125 million pesos confidential and intelligence funds for 2022 of Vice President Sara Duterte. The COA directed Duterte and Special Disbursing Officer Gina F. Acosta and Chief Accountant Julieta L. Villa del Rey of the Office of the Vice President to settle immediately the said disallowance. It reminded that audit disallowances not appealed within 6 months shall become final and executory. ND number 2024-002-100 dated the 8th of August, 2024 was signed by Nilda B. Pleris, Assistant Commissioner and Officer in charge of COA's Intelligence and Confidential Funds. From the amount of 73.2 million pesos, 69.7 million pesos was disallowed due to non-submission of documents evidencing the success of information gathering and or surveillance activities to support the acknowledgement receipts for payments of rewards in cash, various goods, and medicines, the COA said. It noted that 10 million pesos was used as reward payment, 34.8 million pesos for payment for various goods, and 24.9 million pesos for medicines. The submitted list of 105 activities attended by the Vice President and those conducted by all the offices during the period the 13th of December to 31st, 2022 did not indicate the particular accomplishments for the successful information gathering and or surveillance activities that are directly related to the specific confidential activities undertaken by the agency and which warrant the payments of rewards, the COA said in its ND also. It said that 3.5 million pesos was used as payment for tables, chairs, desktop computers, and printers without any specification that they would be intended for confidential activities undertaken by the OVP at the same time. The COA said rewards should have been recorded as supplies in the acknowledgement receipt, considering that the OVP submitted acknowledgement receipts reflecting payments for purchased supplies. In addition, there are no documents to further support their arguments that the expenses are not rewards. It also said there was also non-submission of the revised accomplishment report to the Office of the President, Senate President, and Speaker of the House, which is a requirement of Joint Circular No. 2015-01. It added, it held Duterte liable for approving the transaction including the utilization of the cash advance, Acosta for acting as the payee and disbursing the cash advance, and Villa del Rey for certifying that the supporting documents were complete and proper. An official of the Bureau of Corrections, who was in charge of the Davao Penal and Prison Farm when 3 jailed Chinese nationals were killed in the 20th of August 16, was cited for contempt for lying and not answering about details of the incident. During the hearing of the House of Representatives Quad Committee on Wednesday, Bucor Superintendent Gerardo Padilla insisted that he is not involved in the killing of Chu Kin Tung, Jackson Lee, and Peter Wang, 3 individuals jailed in the Davao Penal Farm for drug-related charges, whose death was allegedly ordered by former President Rodrigo Duterte. Padilla said that he also did not receive a call from Duterte supposedly congratulating him for the hit, contrary to the claims made by self-confessed hitman Leopoldo Tan. But what earned the ire of lawmakers was Padilla's insistence that he was not aware of the order to transfer the Chinese nationals to the same solitary confinement cell where Tan and fellow hitman Fernando Magdadero was placed, adding that the final order did not come from him. When Padilla failed to directly answer Santa Rosa City Representative Dan Fernandez's questions about who ordered the transfer of the Chinese inmates, a Bang-linked party list representative Joseph Stephen Paduano raised his voice and demanded that Padilla name the one behind the directive. Eventually, Paduano moved that Padilla be cited for contempt. A barangay captain in the city of Naga, Southern Cebu was arrested for allegedly using a fake certificate authorizing registration, a document issued by the Bureau of Internal Revenue to transfer a property. Edngera Nokan of Barangay Tinan was arrested in a hot pursuit operation conducted on the 22nd of August by the National Bureau of Investigation Central Visayas. The operation stemmed from an entrapment operation that the NBI-7 conducted inside the office of the Provincial Registry of Deeds in Barangay Guadalupe here. The NBI-7 said Nokan, through a representative, presented falsified ECA and deed of absolute sale. These fake documents were presented to the Office of the Registry of Deeds to transfer an original certificate of land title of a property in Mulbol, Cebu with a total area of 28,626 square meters. The alleged vendee of the property turned out to be the deceased mother of Nokan, the NBI-7 said. After the recovery of the fake documents, the NBI-7 conducted an operation that led to Nokan's arrest. The NBI-7 discovered that the QR code attached to the fake documents is originally attached to another ECA involving the sale of a property with an area of 8,626 square meters. The operation stemmed from the request of attorney Fidel Calvin, who requested the NBI-7 to conduct a thorough investigation on the alleged forgery of a CAR purporting to be issued by BIR's regional district office in Talisay City. The NBI-7 also discovered that Noken is also facing a separate case for falsification of a motor vehicle certificate of registration. The impact of this investigation and operation is very crucial because it involves the integrity of our torrent system and the government revenue collection effort. Thus, the Department of Justice and the Department of Finance will go after those who will engage in this criminal activity to the fullest extent of the law, the NBI-7 said. Charges for 2 counts of violation of the National Internal Revenue Code and falsification of publication documents were filed against the suspect. As a barangay captain, the suspect is also facing separate complaints before the Office of the Ombudsman for violating Republic Act 6713, an act establishing a code of conduct and ethical standards for public officials and employees. That's all for this week. I'll see you next week with more stories of corruption and foolishness within the Philippine government.